Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. I'm Reagan. We are going to be doing my November wrap up. This month I ended up reading 10 books in total, 6 physical books and 4 Kindle books. Not that quantity matters, but the quality of my books this month just weren't super on par. They weren't terrible, but I just feel like I've had better reading months. So this month just kind of felt a little weird to me. I don't know why. With all that being said though, let's get started. The first book that I read this month was Resting Scrooge Face by Megan Quinn. I read this in a reading vlog. It was a holiday novella, like less than 100 pages. I don't even really want to give you a synopsis about it because it is less than 100 pages. And I feel like if I give you any information about this, you'll pretty much know the plot of the story. Basically, there's like letter writing. It's set in a small town. It's very, very Hallmark, very cheesy, but very fun. Like, I just loved it, and it was something quick and easy to get me in the Christmas spirit and in the Christmas mood. I don't know. I really loved it. I did not rate this book because I don't know how to give a rating to such a short novella, but I did really enjoy my time with it. Next up, I read The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. I still have yet to read the third book, which I really, really need to, and that is a big priority of mine in December, but I did end up reading The Ballad of Never After. I gave it 4.5 stars. Absolutely loved it. Like, I went on and on about this book in one of my reading vlogs, but I just love Stephanie Garber's writing so much, and I love her world building, and I just like love the way that she sets up her fantasy stories. Like, it is so whimsical and fun and enchanting. She creates such a great escapism in her books, and I love it. So yes, 4.5 stars. Again, won't go into too much detail about what this is about because it is the second in a trilogy, and that would be spoilery, but we have Evangeline and Jax. Jax is the Prince of Hearts, and Evangeline wants to make a deal with him to have true love. She then realizes that making a deal with the Prince of Hearts is a dangerous thing, and she probably shouldn't be doing that. And then a lot of things unfold from there. The cliffhanger in this book was fantastic, and I can't wait to read the last book in the series. Next, I read King of Wrath by Anna Huang. This is a billionaire romance. I have read Anna Huang's other series, the Twisted series, but I hadn't read the Kings of Sin series before. So I am always a sucker for a billionaire romance. So this one really did not disappoint, and I really do enjoy Anna Huang's writing style and her characters and her romances. This is about billionaire CEO Dante. We love him, and he is forced to marry Vivian and Vivian's family, these big time jewelry company owners, so she is a jewelry heiress, and she and Dante have to marry each other for the sake of like keeping up appearances within her family. There's also a secret that Dante has that her father ends up knowing about Dante. So it's just like this whole big triangle, and there's drama, and there's billionaire, and there is forced proximity, arranged marriage, fake dating. Like, everything in this book is just absolutely fantastic. I gave this book 4 stars. I feel like it wasn't something that I will always remember, but I loved this book, and I will probably pick up the next book in the series, but I just won't be in a rush to pick it up. Definitely recommend if you guys like billionaire romances. All right, next up, I actually read an arc, and that is A Festive Feud by Maren Moore. This is a holiday novella. I have never read anything from Maren Moore before, but I loved this, and I feel like I will definitely give her other books a try. It was like a little too spicy sometimes, like for a novella, which I get is the point, but for me personally, didn't super love that aspect about it. There are 2 families who they have a Christmas party every single year, but they're kind of feuding because one family is like competing against the other family to have the best Christmas party in this town. But then something happens, and our 2 main characters have to work together to form a joint Christmas party for the town, and their romance unfolds from there. It was super sweet. It was super fun. It was very Hallmarky, which I always love within Christmas things. So I ended up giving this book a 3.5 stars. Like I said, it wasn't like anything super fantastic in my opinion, and something that I will continue to think about, and also some of the spice just like didn't work for me. Pretty average, a 3.5, but still really great. These next few books I actually just read in my last reading vlog, so I won't talk too much about them because if you want like super in-depth thoughts and real-time updates, you can go watch that video, but I will just kind of give you the rundown on like what they're about and my ratings on them. So first up, we have Heavy is the Crown by Lindsay J. This is a YA fantasy that starts out in the modern world, and these 2 teens get sucked into a portal that leads them to the medieval world, and they are trapped in this world. They don't know how to get back. It was just absolutely so unique, so fun. I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I will definitely be continuing on. It is a trilogy, so I don't know. I just loved it. It like was something that made me excited to read. I was excited to pick it up. It is pretty YA, but honestly, I loved it for what it did. Like, it was just such a fun read. I think everyone needs to go read this book because it was just such a unique take on a YA fantasy, because there's not a super big magic system other than the portal that they called the gate. It was just a really great time, and I highly recommend this book. I think everyone should go read it. Next up, I read Flawless by Elsie Silver. We all know and love her. We all know and love her. I literally gave this book 5 stars. I don't know why. This book really did it for me, but I loved it. I do know that there are flaws within this book, which I did talk about in my reading vlog, but I just gave it 5 stars because of the feelings that I had, the vibes that I was getting. Like, it was just such a fun time for me. I just had so much fun with it. I loved it. This is about Rhett and Summer. Summer is working for her dad, Kip, and Kip is actually Rhett's manager because Rhett is a professional bull rider, and Rhett does something that loses him one of his biggest sponsors. So Kip tells Summer that she needs to go basically be a babysitter, and Summer agrees reluctantly. I feel like Elsie Silver does a really great job with her characters. They were not annoying to me ever. Like, they were such real characters. A lot of like what they were going through was very honest and vulnerable, and I think Elsie Silver handled that really well. They got together very organically, and I just loved it so much. I am so excited to continue on in Chestnut Springs, but this book got a 5-star for me. Then I read Powerless by Lauren Roberts for that vlog. Rachel Catherine recommended this to me, and this was such a fun time. I gave this book 4.5 stars. This is about Hayden and Kai, and in this kingdom there are elites and ordinaries, and ordinaries are kind of banished from the kingdom. Like, people do not want ordinaries to be there, and Hayden, our main character, is actually an ordinary posing as an elite. So she says that she's psychic, she says that she has these abilities. She then rescues Kai, not knowing who he is. Because of her good deed, she is now entered into these trials, which is like this big competition that takes place. You follow a lot of like her adventure and her journey through these trials. You also see her relationship with Kai develop. It is very like enemies to lovers in the sense of there's a lot of banter. They do not like each other at first because she has been trained to not like the elites because she knows that they will come and kill her if they find out that she's an ordinary. So, but I just loved it. It is a YA fantasy. It's going to be a trilogy, I believe, and the second book comes out in July. So I will definitely be reading that because the cliffhanger in this book really got me. Like, even if there were parts of this book that I didn't super enjoy, the ending really just did it for me. I loved it so much. Thank you, Rachel Catherine, for recommending this, and I absolutely loved it. 4.5 stars for me, and I'm excited to keep going on with the series. All right, and the last book that I read for that reading vlog was The Right Move by Liz Tomford. This is a basketball romance. Oh, it was just so good. I love Ryan Shea so much. I think that Liz Tomford does a really great job of, she takes very real characters and very real situations and really puts that into her work in a way that is not only entertaining but also so relatable and just makes you feel like you know these people or you know their experiences that they're going through. Like, so The Right Move definitely didn't disappoint. I absolutely loved it. 4.5 stars, and highly recommend this book. Like, I think everyone should read it. It is so good. Ryan Shea is top tier book boyfriend. We love him so much. This book I'm a little bit afraid to talk about because I am not here to bash this book by any means. Very much respect everyone's opinions. Even if a book didn't work for me and it did work for somebody else, I am so happy that that book worked for them. Like, reading is a subjective experience, and like I said, I'm not here to just sit here and bash about this book and give negativity, but I just want to also provide my honest thoughts and my honest review about this book. Later in the month, it took me literally all month to read it, but the last week of November I actually finished this, and that is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. Now, I was very excited about this book. I did read Fourth Wing back in May, I believe, and I did really like it. I gave it 4 stars or 4.5 stars, I can't remember, but I did enjoy it. It was definitely not my favorite fantasy, but I was also intrigued to see where the author was going to take the plot. I think that this book really fell flat for me. The characters almost felt like different people in this book. Like, they felt so one-dimensional, and a lot of the conflict that was going on just didn't seem like conflict that would have happened in Fourth Wing, if that makes sense. I did end up giving this book a 2-star. The characters just felt super one-sided to me. I didn't really enjoy reading about them anymore. There were a lot of points in this book where I just feel like information could have been taken out. I am definitely a person that loves world building in their fantasy books, so I didn't mind all of the world building, but sometimes it just seemed to get a little lost, and a little bit flat here and there. So I just didn't love how this book was written. I did not love Rebecca Yaros's writing style in this book. I don't think that I will be continuing on with this series just because these books are huge and this is like a big chunk of your time that you're reading, and if I wasn't like enjoying my time reading it, then I don't really want to pick up the rest of the books in the series. Overall, just a really big disappointment for me. I didn't enjoy it. That was just really sad for me because I wanted to care about it, but ultimately I just didn't. And that's okay. Reading is so different for everyone, and if you really, really love this book, I am so, so glad, because at the end of the day, like, I just want everybody to enjoy what they're reading. Everyone that I was seeing online was giving it 5 stars, so I kind of felt like, oh my gosh, like, did I not read the same thing? Like, did I just like not understand something that was going on? Like, I don't know, but just didn't work for me, and that's okay. Last up for the month of November, I read When in Rome by Sarah Adams. I love Sarah Adams books, and I'm so glad that I read this in November because it was such a good transition book almost from like fall to winter. Her romances are just such a great palate cleanser. This book in particular is no spice. It's closed door. So if that's something that appeals to you, definitely pick up Sarah Adams books. This is the first in like the Rome, Kentucky series, but it's not really a series. You can read them out of order, which I did. So this is about Noah and Amelia. Amelia is known as Ray Rose. She is a very famous singer, and she decides to come to this small town of Rome, Kentucky to like act out her Audrey Hepburn moment. And when she gets there, her car gets stuck. So Noah has to come out and get her, and Noah is like this grumpy, broody high shop owner of this small town, and he does not want Amelia to be there. He's like, please, this is not what I needed. But he decides to let her stay at his house for a little bit while her car is being fixed. But over time, they start to develop feelings for each other, and it was just absolutely so wholesome, so sweet. Such a great little palate cleanser for the end of the month. I did really enjoy that her books don't have spice. Obviously, I do read books with spice, but it is just nice sometimes to like have a little bit of a palate cleanser and just have a sweet, wholesome, cute, cheesy romance. This is the first one in the Rome, Kentucky series, like I said. The second one is Practice Makes Perfect, which will be going on my favorites of the year list. Like, I loved Practice Makes Perfect. I think that that kind of hindered my rating of this book because I loved Practice Makes Perfect so much that I ended up giving When in Rome 4 stars. I will honestly read whatever Sarah Adams puts out, and I'm so excited for her next books that will release. So this was the end of the month. I feel like I ended it out on a good note, and we just love Sarah Adams. So those are all the books that I read in the month of November. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and thank you so much for sticking around this far. I am just absolutely blown away by all the support that you guys have given me on this channel. I am so, so grateful. I'm just glad that you guys are here and that you guys enjoy listening to what I have to say about books. And this community would be nothing without all of you. So thank you so, so much for being here, and I hope that you enjoyed today's video. All of my socials will be linked down below as always, and you can go follow me on there. And that's about it for me today. I hope that you have a good one. Bye.